This episode of Other People's Airplanes is supported by WinTee, aviation t-shirt art. We're here at the Sebring Regional Airport in sunny Sebring, Florida for the 2012 U.S. Sport Aviation Expo. I'm David Allen, and I'm about to take you into the cockpit of other people's airplanes. I'm probably going to take some crap for saying this, but I like to think of the U.S. Sport Aviation Expo in Sebring as the Oshkosh of light sport aviation. No, this is no Oshkosh, and you could probably cover this place in a whole day. But if it has anything to do with light sport aviation, it's here, and there is plenty to see. So let's go see if we can find something cool. All right, I've caught up with Mike Hansen, the Chief Operating Officer of Hansen Air Group out of Marietta, Georgia, and we're going to talk about this very, very cool looking airplane back here. This is the what?
This is the FK-12 Comet, and it is just neatest LSA out there, period.
I've never seen an LSA biplane of any kind, much less one that looks like a Pitts.
Well, this is the only SLSA biplane that I know of. I have not seen any on the list yet. So this should be the only one out there.
Have you flown it?
Oh, I've flown it. I've got about 50 hours in this airplane right now.
I'm jealous.
Oh, you ought to be. You know, I've flown a lot of LSAs. We've owned several LSAs, and if I could only have one, this would be it.
This is the guy, huh?
This is it. Nope.
What's it like?
Oh, it's super responsive. It's actually a pretty easy airplane to fly. It's not like a Pitts at all as far as difficulty. It lands a whole lot slower, but it's you can, if you wheel land it, you put it on about 45 knots. If you three-point it with the full full-span flapper-ons, it lands at about 35 knots. So it's a relatively easy airplane to fly. It's not like a Cub or anything like that, but it's still pretty easy to fly. It's got a great roll rate, somewhere above 120 degrees a second. 60 degrees of bank to 60 degrees of bank in right about 1 second. So that's what our testing is so far. We have not been able to do a full aerobatic testing because we don't have the aerobatic engine on it yet. So, and that engine will be the Lycoming AEIO 233. And it should come in about 120 horsepower.
And you're working on getting that done now?
We're working on getting that done now. We've got two airframes coming in from Poland, serials number 102 and 103. And we're going to send those to Doc Bailey's group at Renegade, which is across the way over here, and they're going to install those engines for us. And then we'll do all the testing and come out with the final numbers for the aerobatics.
Well, viewers of this show should know that I really have kind of a special place in my heart for the Pitts. And FK Light Planes makes a number of airplanes, and they're based out of what?
The headquarters is in Speyer, Germany, near Stuttgart, but the factory is actually in Krosno, Poland.
You guys import them here, and of all the planes that they may or may not make, this one is definitely my favorite. Thanks, Mike.
Oh, you're welcome.
Appreciate it. I'm over here with Ken Scott of Vans Aircraft Incorporated. You actually work for Vans, and they brought their new, I don't know if it's new, it's their LSA, and it's the RV-12. And this airplane is a lot more airplane than I would have expected.
Well, me too. I built one for myself, and I've flown the factory airplane quite a lot, and to my pleasant surprise, it flies a lot like an RV-6 or an RV-8. It's a very nice handling airplane with as good a performance as I think you can get out of a 100 horsepower Rotax. It cruises at 120 knots. It climbs at 1,000 feet a minute, and it handles like an RV, which is one of the best things you can say about an airplane.
And not only does it handle like an RV, but it builds like an RV, which means that any person can build one of these things with just basic skills?
Well, it actually builds a lot better than any other RV. This airplane takes about half the time of our other kits because of the the completeness of the kit. Everything is in the kit. You get the engine, you get the prop, you get the little labels on the panel, you get everything. And that and the pop rivet construction, the blind rivets we call them, it's about an 800-hour project for one person working by themselves. And in my shop, working by myself, that's almost exactly what I came up with.
What surprised you the most, and maybe you've already said it, what surprised you the most about this airplane when you began to fly it for the first time?
It was a matter of degree rather than any one thing. It was just a little better in everything than I expected. It was a little faster, it rolled a little quicker, it just handled a little nicer than I thought a light sport airplane could fly. I thought the limitations of the light sport category would result in a little more sluggish airplane, and this is very responsive and a lot of fun. I've enjoyed every minute I've spent in the airplane.
Very cool. And I understand that the owner of the company actually flies one of these to work most days.
Oh yeah, Van's got his own RV-12. He and his brother built one for themselves, and Van flies to work every day, and I'd say about 80% of the time he shows up in the 12, and he's grinning just like I am when he gets out of it. He likes that airplane.
I can imagine that most people would be grinning when they get out of this airplane. Thanks so much, Ken, for taking the time with us here.
Glad to do it. Thanks for coming by.
I made it over to the Breezer booth, and we're talking with Mike Z of Breezer Aircraft USA, the importer for Breezer Aircraft. And it's funny because so many of these LSAs kind of look similar, but this one does have some unique things. And I was talking with a gentleman a few minutes ago about the fact that you guys can fly with your canopy open.
Yes. Yeah, I think we're the only light sport that you can fly with the canopy open. A lot of them feature a tip-up canopy. This one, the canopy slides backward, and there's a lock that actually holds it open. If you forget to latch it, it actually will blow closed on you. And the design of it is such that the air flows through it. You don't get that kind of back blow you get in a convertible. So it's really quite fun. So it's really nice. You have to slow down. You got to keep it under 90 knots. But here in Florida, you take off on a hot summer day, you climb up to 4,500 feet, lower the nose, close the canopy, speed up, cruise along at 120, and then when you get descending and it starts getting hot, slow down, canopy open, come in and land, arm hanging out the window. It's kind of nice.
I think that's just a genius design. It sounds like fun to fly.
Oh, this thing's outrageous. It can take off and land in 350 feet. It cruises comfortably at 105 knots. It'll do 120 knots flat out. It typically at cruise burns about 5.2 to 5.3 gallons per hour at 120 miles an hour or 105 knots. So it's pretty efficient.
And what does that come out to in your gas mileage?
22, 23 miles to the gallon. And that's real life. That's not some book telling you. We fly these over to the Bahamas a lot of cross-country flying, so that's from years of flying these around. That's what we're getting out of the thing.
I don't know if people caught that or not, because you kind of said it real quick and easy, because it's a nothing thing for you. You fly these to the Bahamas.
Yeah, we've had this airplane over 7 times in the last year and a half. From here in Sebring, it's 151 nautical miles to Freeport in Grand Bahama. So in this airplane, that's an hour and a half. So that's 6, 7, 8 gallons of gas.
So LSAs are not toy airplanes.
Well, that's the impression, and they're fun to fly. So if toys are fun to play with, then these could be considered toy airplanes. Sure. They have great handling. It's a sports car. I mean, if you own it for the same reason you own a Harley Davidson or a nice sports car, they're meant for good, fair weather flying and having some fun with. But you can fly them. I've flown these across the United States. I've flown up to Oshkosh now 4 times in a Breezer. I've been over to the Bahamas 7 times in the last year and a half. So we do a lot of traveling with it, and we can do it for a lot less money. I can be in Richmond, Virginia from here in about 6.5 hours and 32 gallons of gas. So
I'm not sure I can do 32 gallons of gas in my car.
You'd be hard-pressed to, and you certainly can't do it in 6.5 hours.
Not a chance. Thanks so much, Mike, for talking to us. If you want to find out more information, it's breezeraircraftusa.com?
That's correct.
And you're seeing that right here on the bottom here on the screen. Thanks again so much.
All right. Thank you so much.
WinTee is an aviation-themed t-shirt business specializing in creating digitally designed aviation-related graphics for pilots, aviation businesses, and aviation enthusiasts worldwide. A pilot of 20 years, Brian Rivera is the owner of and graphic designer for WinTee, a small but growing e-business located in New York City. By using DTG printing technology, direct-to-garment enables WinTee to print 1 or 100 plus garments upon request within a reasonably low turnaround time. Customized print jobs using customer-submitted graphics are also possible. WinTee specializes in printing full-color photographs, line art, and logos using the most popular digital file extensions. Contact WinTee Aviation T-shirt art by visiting this link right here. Click the contact button on the website's navigation bar for contact information and find out how a custom aviation graphic can be printed for you. Well, that's it, folks. That's the end of day one here at the 2012 U.S. Sport Aviation Expo at Sebring, Florida, here at the Sebring Regional Airport. Carl from the Stuck Mic Avcast is here with me, and this is like the 4th or 5th person I've ran into today from other new media producers. It's great to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you too, and it's great to see all those folks in new media out here today talking and videotaping, and it's been wonderful. We've had a great time.
I saw Jack Hodgson and Jeb Burnside and James Wimbrand of Uncontrolled Airspace, you and just a number of other people. So it's been very, very cool. What did you see here today that just really kind of sticks? What are you going to be thinking about when you asked me this?
I was going to say.
What are you going to be thinking about when you go home tonight?
What I'm going to be thinking about actually is going to be the WACO. Yeah. There's a WACO here. They're giving rides. Florida Biplane Rides, I think it's called, .com. And boy, I tell you, these people are passionate about old airplanes and about taking people flying. So that's what I'm thinking about. And I spent at least 20 minutes with these folks, and I didn't want to walk away. The other thing that my big...
1 second. The WACO, I think it just flew by. I think that's it. I think that's it right there.
There it is.
So yeah, I hope you saw it when in the frame. I don't know, but that's what was making all the noise.
That's perfect, and that's good noise. We like airplane noise, that kind of airplane noise especially. But the other takeaway from here is the fact that there's still people that are here that weren't here before. There's still people that are in the business of making light sport aircraft, and it's good to see Cessna is still making a light sport aircraft, to see Remos, CTLS, Carbon Crafters, and everybody. Because one of the things that worried me is that you're going to see a big shakeout in the industry. The other thing that I noticed is just a few less people here, a few less exhibitors, a few less people. But then again, day one, it's kind of cold. Got a sweatshirt on, So possibly tomorrow it'll warm up. More people will come, and the weekend I think we'll see more folks. But it's a terrific show, and one of the things that and the reason I'm here, and I think most people are here, is that this is where aviation begins. This is where flying begins. Small airplanes, no matter what you do, if you fly a fighter, if you fly for the airlines, if you fly a 172 or a light sport, it all starts in a single engine, usually 2 4-place aircraft, and that's here. So Sebring, 2012. I think flying does begin here.
You got to start in the small airplanes to get to the big airplanes. And like you said a few minutes ago, a lot of people are coming back to the roots, to the small airplanes.
We're seeing more and more folks go from bigger planes, like 182s, 210s, down to these, and also 747s. You're seeing a lot of folks that are in the airlines wanting to get back into the grassroots of flying. They also don't want to have to bother with getting a medical all the time. I'm a captain with the airlines, and I every 6 months have to get myself a medical. It's just wonderful. The other thing is the freedom. You have so much freedom when you're out there flying a small airplane.
Well, these guys over here behind us, flying the Breezer, I interviewed them a little while ago. They've flown the one airplane to the Bahamas 7 times. They've got 7 little stickers on the side. We've targeted them 7 times. So these airplanes really are real airplanes. They really can go places, and I don't think they're going anywhere. So thanks so much for joining me on Other People's Airplanes, Carl. I can't wait to listen to this episode of your show, Stuck Mic. What's it? StuckMicAvcast.com. You're seeing that right here on the bottom of the screen here. And you know what? There's all kinds of great aviation goodness probably going to come out of a lot of podcasts for this.
I think so. And speaking of other people's airplanes, when are you going to fly my airplane?
I don't know. That's entirely. Let's do it. You're local too. We could do this.
Let's do this. So hopefully next time you see a video, we'll be in an airplane together.
I think we can make that happen. Cool. Until next time, we'll catch you later. If you want to follow me on Twitter, make sure it's Dave. Twitter.com/DaveFlies. You're seeing that right here. And also check us out on Facebook. right here. Until next time, we're out of here. We'll see ya.